Hello, I am your host, Kate Kent, and welcome to Hairdresser Heartbreak Club, a Destroy the Hairdresser podcast for big-hearted, tender hairdressers like me. Roll 'em! Do you remember when you were in middle school? I want y'all to think way back. Think back to middle school when you didn't have your own money and you really wanted to get your hair done and your fucking mom is there telling the hairdresser what you want and you're just rolling your eyes because, you know, she's like making little digs about you like, yeah, she loves the Salon Selectives. And you just are like dying inside. Let's talk about being in the salon and having kids in your chair. And you, like, when I say kids, this is like squirming babies where you're like, you do not need to pay me for this. You can just do this yourself at home. But here you are making it a whole thing. And I get it's fun to get photos of the first haircut and that whole thing. But then there's toddlers, then there's middle school with their special smells. And, you know, kids who are in high school. So when we say kids, or like traditionally like the menu item that says kids cut could be anywhere from infant to 12, 15, 16, what have you. And this is insane. Just that range to me is insane. And taking kids in the salon is a special skill. For those of you who like kids and you like cutting their hair and you like having conversation with them, kudos to you. I am someone who enjoys the kids because if you've ever met me, I like the kids. I like to get weird, but there's a certain age where they start to feel embarrassed by me trying to act weird. You know, so if I'm trying too hard for a teenager, they know it, I know it, I feel embarrassed already. And they think that I'm insane. So there's this delicate relationship building that happens with kids, you know? And I want to talk about teenagers mostly, exclusively, because we understand why their mom, dad, grandma, auntie, whoever is bringing them into the salon is going to want to have some supervision when they're of a certain age. So when they're younger, they got to sit in somebody's lap. I mean, now the visions that are going through my head are the child on the lap where they're holding the head, trying to keep this kid still while you're there with sharp instruments. Pro tip. Use a feather razor because then you won't cut yourself or them. But have you seen this in the salon where parents are like just holding these squirmy little kids? And if any parents are out there listening, just let your kids' hair be ugly. Like, don't put them through that. It's so mean. It's mean because then they're screaming. It disrupts the whole salon, but also, like, it's so awful. If your kid doesn't want a haircut and you're forcing them and you're holding their head, God, that's heartbreaking. Teenagers, on the other hand, know exactly what they want. They can hold their heads up. They will not make eye contact. They will not make conversation. Unless you get their parents away. They're not gonna, they want to talk even less when their mom is there, hovering around, saying, "Oh yeah, that looks great. You love that. You love it when it's a little bit shorter, don't you?" And you both are just like, "Get out of here. We know what we're doing. We've got a thing. We're not talking and we're cool. We're cool." So the hovering parent, I have to say, is one of my least favorite things in the salon. And I can put on my customer service face with them and be kind because they're trying to do the right thing. But what this teenager needs is to be free. And so we haven't even gotten into the parent who does not want their child to get a particular haircut, right? The parent who is trying to control what this soon to be adult, like very close to adulthood, like infant adult, essentially. Teenagers, I like to see as infant adults. Like they're at the beginning. They need to figure it out, right? They need to do a little fuck around and find out. Cut your bangs, bleach your hair, color it black in the bathroom, right? There's an element of I need to figure this out myself. And I have found that the most well-adjusted kids are the ones that have a little bit of that freedom. I'm not giving you parenting advice, telling you what to do with your kids and their hair. But what I am saying is just let them choose, let them decide. If they do weird things at these ages, they're going to look back and cringe. My kids now look back on some of their choices, fashion related and hair and makeup. And they're like, oh my God, how cringy. I didn't know what I was doing. So let them be cringe. Let them do what they need to do. But I cannot with the hovering parent getting involved or really trying to persuade them to do something that is perhaps more palatable. The parent who is like, well, keep it long because da 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 da. In my brain, I'm like, you better shut your mouth. Let this kid do what they want because they need that freedom. They're craving that freedom. If you don't give this kid that freedom to cut their hair how they want to, they're going to be stealing cars and punching people in the face. Like, that's the kind of this is the kind of, revolt that you're going to get in your household. And yes, I'm exaggerating. But again, I say the well-adjusted kids are the ones who have a little bit of say and freedom and can practice holding a conversation with an adult professional and advocate for what they want and to be able to say, can we cut it too short? Versus somebody coming in and saying, oh, they like it a little bit shorter. It's good for these kids to have an opportunity to speak up for themselves. And I think hairdressers inherently and barbers are just really good to say, is this okay? Let me check in. Do you want it shorter? And, sometimes the kids don't know. Sometimes they don't know what they want. And that's really hard, but also adults go through that. So I did have a slightly hovering parent today. That's why I brought this topic to the table. And, when I had some one-on-one time with this kid, and I say kid because they're kids still, but they're 16. They're a 16-year-old kid. So I have a 16-year-old kid. I know what they're into to a degree. I know an element of what's going to be embarrassing and cringy and what is going to be a little bit cool. So, I try to balance myself delicately on being cool, being helpful, asking questions, and then also just being like, we can be quiet if you want to. You don't have to talk to me because that's great. It'll all go so much faster if we all just shut the fuck up.
Hey hairdressers, are you looking for health insurance? It's time to get healthy with Hairdresser Healthcare, the only coverage designed specifically for the beauty industry. Whether you're an independent stylist, a salon owner with a team, a makeup artist, or a massage therapist, we've got you covered with comprehensive and affordable benefits. With options for self-enrollment and year-round open enrollment, taking control of your health has never been easier. And the best part is, it's available in every state. Visit hairdresserhealthcare.com and take control of your health today because you, your team, and your family deserve it.